Hello, hope you enjoyed the break.
Oh,
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Good. All right, so what we're going to do in this module is talk about the number one thing that scares managers, that managers absolutely dread to do. What do you think that might be? Within a work context.
Delegating?
It's not the number one, although it is up there, because a lot of managers, as you say, want to hold things back or they don't trust enough. Absolutely. What else do you think it could be?
Sacking people?
Yes, that probably is right up there with one of the number one things that is very difficult for people to do. And in the lead up to sacking people, what do you think has caused them to have to get to that point? Not having done what?
Appropriate feedback.
Exactly, appropriate feedback. So whilst a lot of people actually don't give positive feedback, which they should do, because why do you think they should give positive feedback?
To reinforce positive behaviours.
Yes.
And to give information that is appropriate.
Yeah, and
increases their confidence too.
Encourages them and enables the organisation to perform at optimal performance. So whilst that's quite easy to give, a lot of people don't give that. But what's harder to give is negative feedback. And why do you think that is?
Because it's tough, it's not nice.
We think we'll break the working relationship, perhaps.
Okay, so we're worried about our own feelings. What else?
Their feelings.
We're worried about their feelings, so we don't want to hurt people.
Yes.
We don't like confrontation.
No.
Okay.
We think it may rise to conflict.
Yep.
And resentment.
And resentment. And we think it's all going to lead up to having a negative atmosphere.
Yes.
But what do you think some of the consequences of not giving negative feedback is when it's needed?
Lack of efficiency.
Yep.
The people don't learn, they don't improve.
Yeah. Most people, they found, most poor performers actually don't know that they're performing at a suboptimal level because nobody's told them. So they actually haven't had the chance to improve. So how do you think that affects people around them as well? Not just them, but how do you think it affects the whole team?
Lack of morale.
Yeah, lack of morale.
Or loss of morale.
Yeah. Okay, and lack of trust and all that stuff that goes on, okay? So what we're going to do in this module is I'm going to give you a structure of the best way to give people feedback and what not to do as well. Because sometimes, you know, people can show you what to do, but then you're not quite sure what you shouldn't do as well. So we'll go through that and we'll do a little bit of role play and a bit of discussion. And it's going to be really, really effective for you for the next module, which is in conflict resolution. We're going to really need to know how to give and receive feedback.
Good.
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. So should we get going? So the first thing I'd like to do is I'd like to give you a few sentences, and then I want you to discuss with each other what you think is wrong with what I've said, and how you might make it better. Okay. So what is wrong and how you might make it better. Okay. So if I go to somebody who is a direct report to me and I say, "Oh, Susan, can you pop into my office now?" She has to come into the office and you close the door and you say, "Look, Susan, I'm very, very disappointed with the work that you've done. And it's not just me, the whole team is disappointed. You just haven't performed." What do you have to say for yourself? Okay, so I want you to discuss with each other what you think is wrong or right with the way that's been said. Okay?
Well,
So just take a few
I
minutes.
think that she has just set up a reason to think the whole team is against her. And she's going to go out with supreme paranoia. Because while they're walking in.
Okay, so one is the way that it was presented. So if we say, so the way that it was presented, can you pop into my office now? What would be a better way to do that, do you think?
I just need to clarify something with you.
Okay, okay. You know, that is more specific, but it's not clear what exactly you're wanting to discuss.
I would be more inclined to say there are a few things I would like to discuss with you. What time would be convenient to come and see me?
Okay.
Not to pop into my office.
Okay. So what time? So setting up a time is important. Okay. So set up a time. My suggestion would be actually to say to somebody or to send an email saying there is a performance issue I'd like to discuss. Could you please you know, meet in my office at 2 o'clock. So you actually give them a specific time, because what you don't want is you don't want them to say, oh no, I'm busy this afternoon and I can't make it tomorrow. I think, you know, when it's become so bad that you actually have to deal with the issue, it's better to be clear and to set a purpose for the meeting and a time. You know, we'll need 20 minutes. Okay, so people know what to expect when they come in to the meeting. Okay. The next thing is also with regards to how you say it to somebody. So saying to somebody, your performance is suboptimal, whilst that might be correct, what's wrong with it?
Well, you're making a statement without giving them an opportunity to say anything for themselves. So you should set up a discussion, not just hit them over the head with a bat.
Okay, so you need to be, I think, specific. You need to say, in the delivery of XYZ project, it was not delivered on time. In fact, it was 2 days late. So you need to be absolutely specific, so it's not something that somebody can argue with. If it is really a performance issue, and it's not an issue, because sometimes you actually don't want an argy-bargy discussion about it. You know that there's an issue, and even saying positive things to somebody in that time, they're not going to hear you. So it's better to actually just deal with the issue at hand. To say, look, in terms of timeliness, the time was not met, and it was not met by 2 days. And then instead of saying the people in the team have said that they're not happy with you, you could say how this affected other people. So this has had an effect on the R&D department, in that they couldn't get their project signed off in time. It's also had an effect on, so just to be more specific and not to make it personal. So these are the business implications that has had. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So what do you think you have to do before that meeting? Do you think you can just go into that meeting and discuss these things?
Well, I think you need to get your facts right.
Correct. So you need to get your facts right. You need to have that discussion with other people in the business. You need to know exactly what you're going to say. So my suggestion is that you actually write a script beforehand and you anticipate what that other person is going to push back with, so that you're not sitting there with a mouthful of teeth going, oh, I didn't know about that. So that, for example, if they push back and go, yes, 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 but I did this, that, and the next thing beautifully, you go, absolutely right, you did. However, there's no getting away from the fact that that the performance wasn't delivered in time. Again, just going back to the facts like a broken record, without bringing the emotion into it. So preparation is very important, okay? And in terms of a script, and in terms of some scenarios that might happen, so that you know what you're going to do. And also to have a plan of how that person can improve.
Yes.
So it's pointless going in and telling them what's wrong without
Yes.
telling them how they could improve. Okay?
So it's almost you future pacing them through what you want them to do in the future.
Exactly. It's like a development plan
Yes.
that you give them. You say, look, these are 3 areas that I want you to concentrate on, and this is how you're going to be measured. So they know what the areas are and that they know what the measures are. Okay? And make sure that they're realistic. Because remember when you started out, or when all of us started out, we took a whole lot longer to learn